walking down the street and grooving to this hip hop heat and had this plastic cup and looking for a stinking trash can. Hey, what? Oh, man, leave me alone. Chill. I'm working on my next big hit. What? Oh, we're filming? Excuse me. Today, I would like to talk with you about sustainability. What exactly is sustainability? I'm glad you asked. The common definition of sustainability is the ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level. In other words, to sustain or keep going that ability. We're going to use the word sustainability today as it relates to recycling. In this case, sustainability is the avoidance of the depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. Oh yeah, I lost all of you with that. Lots of glazed eyes out there, but wait. We are talking about saving the planet here. So hang with me just for a little bit. So how do we save the planet? We can do our part in 3 easy steps. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Every day there are more and more people on this great planet of ours. We've got to work together if we're going to have a great future. So let's break reduce, reuse, and recycle down. So the first one, reduce. With any resource you're using, be conservative. Let's look at some examples. So your mama threatened to break your arm if you didn't help with the dishes. Don't just leave that water running the whole time, especially if it's hot water. Turn that faucet on and off during that wonderful process with the quality time you're spending with mama. Instead of grabbing a whole handful of napkins when you go to McDonald's, just grab one per person. When you're home fixing a plate, don't get more than you will eat or drink. Clean your plate off and finish up that drink instead of throwing away a half-full can or a half-full bottle. Reuse, plastic cup, wash it out. Reuse it loads of times, not just once. Plastic bag from the grocery store, use it as a trash can liner. Or take it back to the grocery store and use it next time. But wait a minute, we're going to take a quick break for a public service announcement. Do not ever use a bag as a toy. Seriously. I know that I look extra cool right now, but a plastic bag will suffocate you. And no, I'm not going to demonstrate suffocating for you here right now, but don't ever play with any bags, especially dry cleaning bags. This ends the public service announcement, and please take that very seriously. So, reducing is the very best way to sustain our planet. In other words, never using up a resource or wasting it in the first place. But, as opposed to reducing, reusing something, if it has to be used in the first place, is a great place to be as well. And reusing is very gentle on the planet. Things can only be reused so many times though. So when it's time for them to go, recycle. And that's where I come in. Call me Captain Plastic. Yes, there are other things like paper and glass out there, but for me, plastic. Always plastic. Why? Because it's so recyclable and has a lower carbon footprint than paper or glass when used responsibly. Carbon footprint, responsible use. Man, ask your teachers about those. They're truly important to learn about and a whole lot more fun to learn about than math. Hey, that teacher just hit me in the head for saying that. But please talk with them about learning about the responsible use and carbon footprint. But then you say, Captain Plastic, Mommy told me single-use plastics are bad. Yes, your mother is right. She's always right. And single-use plastic products are bad. But single-use anything is bad. That's why the whole reuse, recycle part is so important. So unfortunately, you can't reuse a paper bag too many times. It gets damp or tears, and to the trash it goes. Plastic is stronger than paper and can be washed and is more durable. So what about this? Captain Plastic. Plastic is so great. When the paper goes to the landfill, it biodegrades, rots, and most plastic doesn't. Bingo. Some plastics are actually made to biodegrade. Great, right? No. Why would you throw away and biodegrade something as durable and reusable instead of recycling it? That's the real key to sustainability. Recycling. Throw away as little as possible and recycle. Take a look at all these buckets. Drums. Here's a shiny new bucket, and she's ready to store almost anything. Once it has served its purpose and it's empty and you're no longer going to use it, you should reuse it instead of throwing it away. This is called a repurposed bucket. That's a fancy fancy way of saying reused. So I use one of these repurposed buckets. This one held paint. I use one of these to hold birdseed in my garage to keep the bugs out of it. Hey, think about this. What a great way to store some Legos. Recycle those old torn up cardboard boxes of Legos came in and store those Legos in a shiny, plastic, durable, repurposed bucket. But unfortunately, they do not sound as good as a drum when they're full of Legos. When that bucket gets old and ratty, and this was actually pretty old and ratty, then it's finally time to renew her. That's where plastic shines. In the recycling part, a process called mechanical recycling takes the plastic and is ground into little chips that look like tiny cornflakes. It is then remelted and made into little pellets that look like tiny BBs. Those pellets are then molded back into many different things, including this bucket. Look at her. She's all shiny and new looking, even though she's made out of 100% recycled plastic. And it's as strong and as new now and is ready for a completely second life. That whole use, grind, remold process can happen over and over again. The person making the pellets can also put in some product to rejuvenate the plastic and potentially even make it more stronger if necessary. So that process sustains itself, going on and on. But alas, eventually the plastic dies. That typically comes from it getting contaminated though, not from its own lack of being able to be rejuvenated. But there's this new, cool process called advanced recycling. And advanced recycling is what the company that I work for, called PSC Group, does by washing, drying, grinding, and pelletizing plastics for mechanical recycling. But we are also the front-end processors for what's called the advanced recycling process. In the advanced recycling process, the plastic is broken back down into the hydrocarbon building blocks that it was made from. So the plastics are originally made either from natural gas or from oil, and they can be taken apart after they've been used. And all of those original parts, carbon molecules, can be put back into a form to make not only new plastics from scratch, but if wanted, it can be turned into fuels, oils, lubricants, tars, asphalts, just to name a few. So all those raw materials that made the plastic in the first place can literally be reborn and reused again and again. So there you go. Captain Plastic has given you the keys to the way to save the planet. Reduce means use less. Reuse. Use it over and over, even if it's not the same purpose that it was originally used for. Recycle. When it's trashed, don't trash it, recycle it. Remember, these 3 R's are not just for plastics, but for all the everyday things we use like glass and paper too. You can make a difference for our future. So, y'all be cool and don't use up all that fuel. This is how we do it, baby.